better for it. That's what I do love about this mic. Okay, Olympia, you are on deck, but right now, coming to the stage, put your hands together for Ewan. Oh!
Hey, what's up, guys? Yeah, I was watching a show and I learned that ducks have like corkscrew penises. Yeah. And their vaginas are also corkscrew, but they go in the opposite direction of their penises. That's crazy, right? I mean, that must feel like really weird, right? You wonder why they're always like, quack! Yeah, in 1993, Lorena Bobbitt, she became famous for cutting off her husband's penis, you know? Yeah, growing up, her favorite movie was Alice in Wonderland, so, you know, I bet you can guess. Off with their heads! Yeah, when I was 11, I had a best friend. He was like this white kid he just moved in from Texas. And then one day, he freaking like Donald Trump, some kid next door, you know? He basically shot him with a .357 Magnum, right? It was a hollow point, you know? And it went into his cheek right here and came out there, you know? And I don't know if you know anything about hollow points, but they expand, right? So if he would have caught bone, he would have ripped that dude's head off, you know? And yeah, my friend, some white kid from Texas, you know, came 1 inch away from killing some kid and spending the rest of his life getting a slap on the wrist. Yeah, you know, whatever. That kid, you know, after he shot whatever, that other kid, he didn't even get in trouble or whatever. They didn't even take the gun away. That's some crazy shit, but anyway. I don't know if you've ever had Korean barbecue before, but it is a bit unique in that you have to pay to cook your own meat.
Sure.
Yeah. And if you pay a little extra, you can wash your own dishes and take out the trash. Yeah, I heard a theory that if Jesus were alive today, that he'd be like a Navy SEAL or something. Yeah, I believe that theory has merit, you know what I mean? Because I've seen a bunch of Navy SEALs once. Yeah, the whole group of them walking around with like the giant Navy SEAL patches. Right when I saw them, I was like, Jesus Christ! Yeah, I went to Mount Baldy this past weekend, and I learned that it wasn't always called Mount Baldy. Back when the mountain was like more youthful and younger, it was known as Mount Rogaine. Hey, you guys ever play doctor when you were kids? Yeah, when I was in kindergarten, I was playing doctor with one of my classmates. It was all fun until she started playing proctologist. Yeah, this one dude told me that, he said if you scratch your head, that's what makes you go bald, you know?
Oh.
Yeah, I don't believe that though, you know, because my balls are still hairy as hell. Yeah, one of my buddies, a white dude. He's like super duper white. He's like part albino or something. Yeah, you know, he's so white when he comes to my house, all my plants start growing in his direction. And, you know, whenever I have sex, normally when I have sex, I very rarely last as long as I'd like to, you know what I mean? I'm always like, come on, penis, hang in there. And it's always like, nah, screw this. Blech. I used to go to water parks every summer, but then one summer I went there and had a fairly traumatic experience, so I stopped going. Yeah, when I was 16, I was waiting on these stairs for this slide, and I look up, and then this girl above me, she's about the same age, and her boobs are right in my face, you know? And it's kind of cold and windy, right? So her nipples are popping out. So I was like, oh, okay, so I turn, but then this girl right here, her face is right in my junk, you know? And I already got a partial woody going on. And then this girl right here, she yawns, right? And so I was like, oh crap, you know, that was it, right? And I was like, bing, you know? So I was like, oh crap, I gotta get out of here. So I just freaking ran up the stairs. And then this must be common occurrence at Raging Waters because the lifeguard was like, come on, just go. And so I jumped on that slide, I got out of there, you know? I was like, damn, they really need to rename this place. And they should call it Raging Boners. Why didn't the oyster share his food?
Why?
He's shellfish.
Oh.
Alright, there's a sailor, right? And he gets hired aboard the ship. They're out at sea for about 6 months. And he's talking to his buddy. He's like, hey, when do we go back into port? You know, I'm getting kind of horny out here. And the dude's like, oh, no, we're not going back into port for another 6 months. Like, what? You know, I can't wait that long. It's like, well, have you tried the barrel? Like, no, what's that? So he takes him to this room, and there's a barrel in it. There's a little hole in the barrel. And so he's like, there you go. So he goes out for it, right? He's fucking the barrel. And it works really well, right? And so he's talking to his buddy later. He's like, man, that barrel was awesome. He's like, I'm gonna use it every day. He's like, well, every day but Sunday, right? He's like, oh, you can't use it on Sunday? Like, well, you can, but Sunday's your day in the barrel, so. What do you call a guy that can make a business suit real fast? Taylor Swift. Yeah, I think Pride Month needs a mascot. And I got the perfect one. The flamingo. Right, they got pink feathers, they love to dance. And they're like a non-predatory type, peaceful type bird, right? They only eat like little brine shrimp and algae and stuff. Like, nobody gives a damn about brine shrimp. And you know what a group of flamingos is called? They're not called a flock. No, they're called the flamboyants. Right? How gay is that, right? It's like all the best part of Pride Month, like all wrapped in one animal and stuff. Even the name flamingo is flaming O. A flaming O? That's just a burning butthole. And normally when a guy like brags about how big his dick is, right? It's usually the opposite, right? It's usually really small, And I was talking to this guy the other day. He's like, "Oh man, my dick's so huge. I'm hung like a horse." And I'm like, "Psh, yeah, like a seahorse." Yeah, I think Shaquille O'Neal's like the happiest man on earth. Yeah, he's always so jolly. Like everyone just loves him, right? I think because he's never been bullied before. Like, how you gonna mess with someone who's so tall that his junk is in your face, right? It's like, hey, Shaq, give me your lunch money. Never mind. Hey, that whole thing about if you're a lady and you're alone in the woods, would you rather run into a bear or a strange man? And a lot of women are choosing the bear, right? But I think that's just ignorance of bear knowledge. Because I met a bear alone in the woods once. Yeah, and he fucked the shit out of me. Yeah, scientists earlier this year reported for the first time 2 male humpback whales having sex. Yeah, Warner Brothers already gonna make a movie about them. Yeah, they're gonna call it Humpback Mountain. Yeah, it's weird how language changes over time, right? Like nowadays, if a guy came up to me and told me he was gonna blow my brains out, I wouldn't know whether to run away or pull my pants down. Yeah, I was watching this Bigfoot show the other day. And it struck me as how dedicated these Bigfoot hunters were. They're so devoted to something that might not even be real. Like comedians in their careers. Yeah, I've had sex with all different types of women, like white, black, Asian, Hispanic. In my opinion, Asian women give the best blowjobs. Yeah. If any of you ladies like to prove me wrong, you can meet me in the bathroom after my set. What did the Australian chess player say to the waiter? Checkmate. Yeah, a couple months ago, North Korea sent over 200 balloons over to South Korea. Yeah, they were like loaded with garbage and excrement. But that statement's not exactly accurate. Because those balloons, they weren't filled with shitty trash. No, they were packed with Dane Cook's jokes. And there's this new disorder going around called Usher syndrome. And it makes you go blind and deaf. It's pretty serious, right? I always thought when you got Usher syndrome, it just made you go, yeah. Yeah, I was in the United States Army, 1st Cavalry Division, Fort Hood. That's pretty cool, It's weird being the only Asian person, though. And every day, people are just looking at me like, are we supposed to shoot this guy? Yeah, my dog, she's cute, She's so cute when other dogs see her, they go, oh my gosh, that dog is so cute. And then they go, oh my gosh, I like the dog. Yeah, one of my buddies, he's Muslim, so he doesn't eat pork, right? That's cool, but he's always trying to pork shame me and shit. He's always like, oh, gross, we eat bacon and sausage. I'm like, man, I'm Korean, right? We eat dog, right? Yeah, I was watching the Oscars this past season. And towards the end, I was getting all excited. I was like, hey, look, they're bringing back the Mummy. Then I saw it again, I was like, oh no, that's just Al Pacino. The NFL is one Asian player, and he's a kicker. Could you not find a more racist position for this guy? What, are you gonna make him go out barefoot in a karate uniform? Yeah, I was talking to this dude the other day. He told me he's Persian. I was like, you're Persian? From Persia? He was like, yeah, where are you from? I was like, the Han Dynasty, I guess? Yeah, I was eating pizza the other day, but eating pizza by yourself is like kind of depressing, right? Yeah, it's like eating cake or getting drunk by yourself. Basically like my last birthday. Yeah, you know, comedians will always tell you two things, right? They always tell you when they just get booked on a show. They always tell you when they just had sex. That's a bit cheating out, right? Like myself, I haven't been booked on a show in over a month. But I did get laid last week, so whoa. Alright, my name's Iwano, I'm out here, thank you.
Here we go, baby. And Peanut. I feel like we never give enough love to Peanut. Funniest dog in the game, let me tell you.